Everyone, Chris Kimball from theblogfixer.com here. Today I'm doing some work on the back end of the blog Kitchen Stewardship, and I thought I'd take the opportunity to record a quick screencast to show off some of the functionality of the BlogFixer plugin that I'm going to use to help me do my work. Real quick, the BlogFixer is a utility for updating, changing, or otherwise just generally fixing your WordPress post archives. You can think of it kind of like a fast-working virtual assistant that you hire that'll go through every one of your posts, open them up, make some kind of change, and then click Update. Now, the software is currently in the beta testing stage, so the final product may look a little different than what we're showing off here, but the core functionality is more or less finished. So what I've done thus far is I've simply logged into the back end of Kitchen Stewardship and navigated over to the BlogFixer dashboard. And what we're seeing here is a list of all the fixes that have been configured for Kitchen Stewardship. Now, many of these fixes we've already applied, and some of them we're developing and will be applying in the near future. Just kind of point out a few of them. We've done things like we've crossed out dead links to an ebook that is no longer available and put the words "no longer available" after those links. We went through all posts and looked for images that were referenced in Kitchen Stewardship but weren't in the media library and therefore weren't eligible to be featured images, and we got those added to the media library. We did a variety of fixes that ended up no following over 16,000 either sponsored affiliate links to keep Google happy. We've removed a bunch of dead shortcodes that came from plugins that we're no longer using. We replaced old font tags, which is a way in the very beginning that we were using to style our headings. And we replaced those with modern CSS equivalents, which helped both with SEO and cross-browser compatibility. And we did some mass search and replaces on a bunch of different URLs that changed when Kitchen Stewardship did their recategorization and retagging project. So those are just some of the many fixes that the BlogFixer is capable of, and we're adding new fixes all of the time. The fix, however, we're going to demonstrate today is this one on the very top, and that's to add the Yum button to all of the recipe pages. The Yum button's from Yummly.com, which is essentially a search engine for recipes, and kind of like the Facebook like button or the Pinterest pin it button, the Yum button adds clout on the Yummly website to your recipes. So the more users that click the Yum button, the more traffic Yummly may send your way. We could add the Yum button to the site in a variety of different ways, but we're going to be using the BlogFixer because of the precise control it gives us over exactly where the button ends up and also which post it ends up on. It was important to Kitchen Stewardship that the button only show up on posts that actually have recipes in them rather than on every single post. And they also kind of like the idea of having it right underneath the recipes rather than having the user have to scroll to the very top or very bottom of the post. So the BlogFixer gives us that type of that precise type of control, and we can see here as we read the description that it's going to add the Yum button in any post in the category Real Food Recipes, as Kitchen Stewardship adds all of their recipes to that category, and it's going to add it after any Easy Recipe markup it finds. Kitchen Stewardship uses the Easy Recipe Pro plugin to enter their recipes onto their site, so that markup will give us an indication as to where the recipe's ending, where we can put the Yum button. But it's important to point out that we really could have configured this in any way. If you happen to use the ZipList plugin, for example, for your recipes, we could look for that markup or any content really in the post to determine where we want the Yum button to be placed. So I'm going to click on this Add Yum button link here to tell the BlogFixer that we'd like to apply this fix. So now we're at the Progress tab of the BlogFixer, and this is where I can begin to actually apply the fix I've selected. We can see here that the BlogFixer has identified 276 posts that it's going to examine, and that represents the number of posts in that Real Food Recipe category. To get the fix started off, I'm going to click this Analyze button, And that's the first step to applying any fix. Analyze does not make any changes to any posts. It simply allows you the opportunity to see which posts are going to be changed and to preview any of those posts to make sure that the fix is exactly what you really want to apply. So while Analyze is running, we get a running count here of the number of posts it's looked at so far, and then it tells us the number of posts that will be changed by our fix, along with the total number of elements that are going to be changed. In this case, the element count is just the number of Yum buttons that's going to be inserted. So we can see that a few posts have more than one recipe in them, and thus are going to get more than one Yum button. We can also see that not every single post that's being examined is being changed, and that's because not every post in the real food category actually contains a recipe. So only the ones that have the easy recipe markup are the ones that we're going to change. Now while this is running, we can scroll down and we can take a look at the list of posts that are actually going to be updated. So this gives us a list of all the posts that the fix will apply to, along with the number of elements that will be changed in each. And again, the number of elements changed in this case equals the number of Yum buttons inserted. So in order to preview specific posts, I can go ahead and click on any of these links here, and that's going to open the post as it is now in a new tab. So I can take a look and see what it looks like before any fix is applied. And I'm going to scroll down. This particular post had 3 Yum buttons that it was going to insert. So I just want to make sure beforehand that there are indeed 3 recipes. So we can see here's our first recipe. Scroll down, here's our second, and sure enough, here's our third. So that checks out. Close that tab and get back to our table. Now what I can do is I can hover underneath the post here, and in the action links that pop up, I can select Preview Changed Version. This is going to again open us up in a new tab, but this time it's going to show us what the post is going to look like once the fix is applied. Again, still at this point we haven't actually applied any of the fixes, so nothing's live yet, but we can get a sense of what it's going to look like. So here you see our first post, and sure enough, here's our Yum button that we inserted. Keep scrolling down. Second post likewise has a Yum button, and the third. So that all checks out. So what I could do at this point is I could go through and I could preview any of these other posts I wanted and basically spot check as many as I feel comfortable with to know that I've configured my change properly. Alternatively, I can come down here and I can actually get a side-by-side comparison of the HTML as it is now versus what it will be once the fix is applied. And that's what this View HTML diff link does. So we'll go ahead and open that and wait for it to pop up in our new tab. And for those of you that have ever clicked on the Revisions tab, you'll recognize this layout here. The code on the left is the HTML behind the post as it is now, and then the HTML on the right is the change after the blog fix was applied. So I'm going to scroll down here and it will highlight the differences in a color. We can see here in green, this is the line that was added by the blog fixer. And taking a look, I recognize that this is indeed the Yummly code button. So we'll keep scrolling down. So we should see that added twice more. Sure enough, here's the second time. Keep scrolling down, and here's the third. So again, a second way for me to validate that the fix is being applied correctly. So at this point, if I had seen something change that I didn't like, I could go back and update my configuration for the fix and rerun Analyze and make sure that it was exactly how I wanted it. In this case, everything looks good, so I'm going to go ahead and tell Blog Fixer to apply this fix and make it live. I do that by clicking the Fix My Blog button, and it's essentially going to look just like Analyze. It's going to start over the progress bar, and the counters are going to continue, and again we're going to see the change posts table update as it finds posts to update. And that'll do it. And it took about 2.5 minutes to update those 168 posts with the Yum button. But the Yum button is now live, and the Kitchen Stewardship users can now begin yumming the recipes and hopefully resulting in more traffic for Kitchen Stewardship. Just to double check that our fix looks good, I'm going to go ahead and open that post we were looking at before. This is just the link to the live post, so this isn't the preview anymore. And we'll scroll down and make sure our Yum buttons are in place. There's 1, there's 2, and there's 3. So if you'd like to learn more about the Blog Fixer, or join our beta testing list, or if you'd like to send us one of your blog's problems that you'd like the Blog Fixer to be able to fix, head on over to theblogfixer.com. Thanks for watching.